History isn't a straight line. It moves in steps. Fire was a step. The internet was a step. But right now, we are about to unlock 5 technologies simultaneously that will change more in the next 12 months than in the last 12 years. We are talking about industrializing space, rewriting human biology, and the end of privacy as we know it. These aren't just predictions for the distant future. These are the deadlines set for 2026. So, let's begin. At number 5, we have the moment humanity officially stops being a single planet species. For 50 years, the moon was a museum. We went there, we took some photos, we planted a flag, and we left. But in February 2026, the museum closes and the construction site opens. That is the scheduled launch window for Artemis 2, the mission that puts humans back in lunar orbit for the first time since 1972. But unlike the Apollo missions, which were about national pride, Artemis is about something much more powerful: profit. We are seeing the birth of the cislunar economy. And the infrastructure is already being built. They want to start mining on the moon's surface. And there are 2 things specifically that they are after. First, water ice trapped in the dark craters of the South Pole. Water can be split into hydrogen and oxygen, which is rocket fuel. The moment we can refuel spaceships in orbit, the moon becomes a gas station for Mars.
Orbital propellant transfer. So you can think of this like similar to aerial refueling for airplanes, but in this case it's orbital refilling of rockets.
Second, and more lucrative, is helium-3. It is a rare isotope that is virtually non-existent on Earth, but abundant on the moon. It is the perfect fuel for clean nuclear fusion. Current estimates value helium-3 at roughly $20 million per kilogram. That makes the moon the most valuable mine in the solar system. But here is the thing. We aren't the only ones packing our bags. China is moving aggressively with their International Lunar Research Station, targeting the exact same strategic craters at the South Pole. In 2026, the space race turns into a land grab. Whoever claims those craters first controls the energy market of the future. The treaties say no nation can own the moon, but possession is 9/10 of the law. And in 2026, we are going there to possess it. At number 4, we have the technology that breaks the physics of energy storage. For 30 years, the lithium-ion battery has been the leash holding humanity back. It powers our lives, but it is flawed. It is heavy, it loses charge in the cold, and if you puncture it, the liquid electrolyte inside turns into a jet of fire. But in 2026, the leash breaks. This is the year the solid-state revolution moves from the lab to the assembly line. Major players like Toyota and Chinese giants like GAC and CATL are targeting this window to launch the first generation of mass-produced vehicles powered by solid-state tech. The difference is simple but revolutionary. They replace the flammable liquid inside the battery with a solid ceramic or polymer material. This changes everything. These batteries fit 50% more energy into the same space. We are talking about EVs with a 1,000-kilometer range, 600+ miles on a single charge. That is enough to drive from London to Berlin without stopping. Because there is no liquid to boil, you can push energy into them aggressively. We are looking at a 10% to 80% charge in under 10 minutes. In 2026, the convenience gap between gas and electric evaporates. But the real story here isn't about cars, it's about power. Right now, China controls the vast majority of the battery supply chain. If they master mass production first, and they are currently leading the race, they won't just dominate the auto industry. They will own the energy storage market for the entire world. Oil defined the 20th century. Solid state will define the 21st. And the country that builds the best battery becomes the new Saudi Arabia. At number 3, we move from machines to the human body. For centuries, pain was the price of being alive. To stop it, we had to use opioids, drugs that kill the pain but often destroy the person. But in 2026, the opioid era officially begins to end. This is the year the world sees the mass rollout of a new class of drug called suzetrigine. It is the first new type of acute pain medicine in 20 years, and it works like magic. Opioids work by numbing your brain. Suzetrigine works by silencing the wire. It targets a specific sodium channel called NaV1.8, found only in your peripheral nerves. It essentially puts a mute button on the pain signal before it ever reaches your brain. That means no high, no addiction, and no withdrawal. But while Vertex is fixing pain, others are fixing the source code. 2026 marks the critical maturation of base editing. If original CRISPR was a pair of scissors that cut your DNA, often messily, base editing is a pencil. It can erase a single letter of your genetic code and rewrite it without breaking the strand. We are seeing trials right now that use this molecular pencil to target everything from high cholesterol to genetic blindness. The goal is simple: a single injection that edits the disease out of your body forever. We are rewriting the human experience. We are turning off pain and deleting disease. But it begs the question, if we can edit out the bad parts of being human, what happens when the rich start editing in the better parts? At number 2, the threat gets personal. For the last 3 years, we thought AI was coming for our creative jobs. We thought it wanted to write poetry, paint pictures, and write code. Well, we were wrong. In 2026, artificial intelligence gets a body. This is the year general-purpose humanoids move from the prototype phase to the deployment phase. And the speed of this transition is terrifying. After years of delays, Elon Musk has confirmed that limited production and commercial rollout are targeted for 2026. The goal is a machine that costs less than $20,000, cheaper than a commercially available car, and significantly cheaper than a human employee's annual salary. But it's not just Tesla. China's Unitree has already launched the G1 humanoid for $16,000. It can stand up after falling, crack walnuts, and solder wires. In the US, Figure AI has already deployed robots inside BMW factories. They aren't just walking, they are handling sheet metal and learning from their mistakes in real time. This is the critical difference. These aren't automation robots that follow a pre-programmed path. These are embodied AI. They use end-to-end neural networks. They look at the world with cameras, understand it, and make decisions. If you move a box, they don't crash, they adjust. In 2026, the barrier protecting blue-collar jobs dissolves. A robot that costs $2 an hour, doesn't sleep, doesn't unionize, and never gets injured is an economic inevitability. The question isn't whether companies will replace human workers. The question is, what happens to the economy when the labor force is no longer human? And finally, at number 1, the technology that threatens to break history itself, the Y2Q event. For 30 years, the internet has relied on a single mathematical lock to keep your secrets safe: encryption. But in 2026, the world officially begins the race to change that lock before it's too late. This is the year the European Union, Canada, and major infrastructure providers have set as the deadline to start the migration to post-quantum cryptography. But why the rush? Because they know what is coming. Experts estimate there is a 1 in 7 chance that a quantum computer capable of breaking current encryption could arrive as early as 2026. But the real danger isn't the computer that exists tomorrow. It is the data being stolen today. We are currently facing a threat known as harvest now, decrypt later. Right now, nation-state hackers are intercepting massive amounts of encrypted traffic. State secrets, bank records, private emails. They can't read it yet, so they are storing it in massive data centers. They are waiting for the day the quantum computer comes online to turn that encrypted noise into clear text. The atomic bomb was loud. This weapon is silent, and the countdown has already started. We just saw how technology might break the future, but the truth is, it's already haunting the past. There is an app that used quantum code to guide teenagers to a literal crime scene, an arcade game that wiped people's memories before vanishing, and other strange stuff like that. Click the video on your screen to see the lost software iceberg. I can promise you it's a wild story.